Hello everyone, welcome to the next lesson in probability. We're going to take a look at probability and odds. Odds are kind of an interesting way of looking at probability. I personally don't look at odds as the primary resource or the primary way of delivering probability, but it does help us taking a look at things in a different way. So the probability is a measure of an expectation that will occur. In a previous lesson, we have expressed probability as a decimal, as a percent, or as a fraction. Odds is a ratio that compares probability. So it is a ratio that compares probability. Now, it's a ratio. So that's going to be kind of important. And in case you don't forget, in case you forget here, I'm going to use this die. Everybody understands a die, one dice, right? It's fairly intuitive. And the probability expressed as a fraction is 1 over 6. Like, let's say I'm trying to roll a 2. The probability expressed as a fraction is 1 over 6. Odds expresses a little bit differently. They express it as a ratio. Now, I'm gonna use this die to help me out a bit. The odds in favor of event A occurring are given by the ratio. So the odds, and another way of the odds in favor, the odds that A will occur, you can say will occur. So what we're going to do is we're going to express it as a ratio. And how we are going to express that as a ratio, we can basically identify the number of favorable outcomes to the number of unfavorable outcomes. So that's the odds in favor of event A occurring. So let me go and talk about my die here. And my die. Suppose I would like to say, what are the probability, or what is the odds for a 2 to occur? So the odds in favor of 2. So I'm going to say, well, how many outcomes have a 2 on it? 1. How many unfavorable outcomes? Well, there's going to be 5. The other 5 sides. We could have a 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You may note that if you sum both the left-hand and right-hand side, you'll end up with the total number of outcomes. Now, the odds against. Now, let's move on to the next bullet. If the word is stated, the odds against A to occur, well, what you have to do is you just simply switch these around. It is the number of unfavorable outcomes to the ratio of the number of favorable outcomes. Now, I'm going to change the question. The odds against 2. So the odds, sorry, it's looking terrible here, my handwriting, but bear with me here. The odds against 2. Now, let's go back to my die. What do we notice? The number of unfavorable outcomes is 5. There are 5 sides that are not 2. How many sides R2, exactly one side. All right. Now, how many total sides do we have on a die? Well, you know that there are 6. But if you take a look at odds that are written as a ratio, you just simply add the 2 sides of the ratio and you'll get the total number of outcomes. Note, if the odds in favor of event A are to occur, M to N, then the odds against A to occur are going to be expressed as N to M, right? So really, this, if the odds are in favor of, M would be the favorable outcomes, whereas N would be the unfavorable outcomes. When it's the odds against, you have to remember that the first number here, N, will be expressed first, is unfavorable to M, which is the favorable. Last but not least, the probability of event A occurring, P of A. Now I'm going to put this as a fraction. Not a fraction, a fraction. I'm going to put this as a fraction. We're going to express. So what am I doing? I am going to express the probability of event A is occurring given the odds in favor of it. Well, we can say the number of favorable outcomes here. I'm just going to write this here in context of this question. The number of favorable is M. The number of unfavorable is going to be, so this is N. The number of unfavorable, pardon me, I just messed up. The number of favorable ways that we can get outcomes is going to be M. The number of unfavorable outcomes is N. So the probability for event A to occur, by definition, as we learned yesterday, is the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of outcomes. Well, here, if we add these two together, that will give us the total. All right, I'm going to stop the video now, and then we're going to go to some practical